Relationships, am I right? They've got their ups and downs. But imagine tossing in, like, strong political beliefs, especially these days. Does that make a couple stronger if they agree? We're going deep on this one, looking at an outline for a podcast: Politics and Partnership, the Power of Shared Beliefs. Catchy, huh?
Yeah, it's a question a lot of couples are thinking about for sure, especially now. This whole political compatibility thing is really interesting.
So it's not like you have to agree on every single little thing, right?
Right. It's less about agreeing on every policy, every candidate. It's more, those big picture values.
Okay, unpack that a little. What does it mean then to be politically compatible?
It's more about your core beliefs, right? Like what's right and wrong, what's the government's role, how should society even work? Do you basically see eye to eye on ethics, morals, that kind of thing? Because those shared values, that's the foundation. Understanding and intimacy, that's where it starts.
That's true. You're coming from like a similar place in the world, but how does that actually play out day to day in a relationship? How does that look?
Well, if you've got shared values, you often end up with shared goals.
Right.
Let's say the environment is huge for both of you. You might make different choices together, like eco-conscious stuff, or maybe you volunteer for environmental causes, even just like having deeper conversations about climate change, that kind of thing. These shared experiences, they build you up as a couple, give you that sense of purpose together.
It's like you're on the same team. You're both working towards the same thing because you both believe in it.
Exactly, exactly. And that is powerful stuff. Plus, let's not forget, if you share political views, chances are you'll argue less.
Mhm.
Like every headline, every debate, it's not a potential fight if you're on the same page.
Although, let's be real, disagreements still happen, even if you're basically on the same side, right?
And those probably hit harder when it's something you really care about.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
And that's where it gets tough. We've talked about the good stuff, but what if you just don't see eye to eye? Can a relationship handle that, let alone thrive? Big question.
That feels like the question for couples now.
Hmm.
So is it possible? I think so, yeah. But it takes work. Both people have got to be willing to put in the effort. Open communication. And it's got to be respectful even when you disagree. You don't have to agree with their view, but you got to hear them out. Try to understand where they're coming from.
It's empathy, really. Like, why do they believe that? What experiences made them see it that way?
Exactly. And sometimes you find common ground in the weirdest places. Don't forget, relationships aren't just built on politics. You got to have those shared hobbies, interests, all those other values. Those are important too.
Yeah, you feel for the whole person, not just their political party. So, practically speaking, any tips on dealing with those differences?
Boundaries, man. Boundaries are huge. Maybe you just agree, okay, this topic is off limits when it's getting heated or at family gatherings. It's about protecting what you have. You can still respect each other without going to battle on every single issue.
Okay, here's a curveball from the outline. They suggest that being politically active together, even with different views, could actually make your bond stronger, like volunteering on a campaign or something.
It sounds kind of crazy, but think about it. You're working towards something, sharing that experience. Maybe you even learn something from each other's views.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a connection you don't get just talking about it.
Finding common ground by doing something, even if you think differently. Interesting. So, to wrap this up, can shared political beliefs make a relationship stronger? What have we learned?
I mean, it gives you a starting point, right? Values, goals, easier communication. But it's not a magic recipe for, like, perfect coupledom. Relationships are messy. If there are political differences, talk it out, be kind, and find that common ground. That's the key. You don't have to agree on everything, but you got to at least try to understand each other.
Lots to think about today. What if understanding your partner's political beliefs, like really understanding their experiences and how they got there, could bring you closer? Even if you don't agree on everything, something to chew on the next time politics comes up.